day one been into the fact of, talking about private things that went on in the royal family when they were a part of it. And the thing is, it's just their point of view. We haven't had the other point of view. And it's like, don't bring it to the public. Nobody wants to know about it. Every family has problems. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
And I just think that from day one, they've handled it very badly. And you know what? They wanted their freedom. They have it. But they want more than just their freedom. They want to be two very important people politically.
Yeah, but they want the royal.
Okay.
Take it easy. But I think if they keep poking their nose into American and political affairs and the Constitution and so on, it's not going to end well. I can tell them that. I want to talk to you also about
It's like he's only... I was just going to say, he's only been here 2 minutes and he wants to run the country. It's like, hold on.
It's completely absurd. Talking about Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle, I don't know if you'd be following this, but he did this big Netflix special. He told some trans jokes. Some people thought it was funny, including trans people. Other people, including other people.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Trans people hated it. Wanted him cancelled. Netflix stood by him. But he was due to play in a gig in Minneapolis yesterday. And they cancelled it, the organisers, at the last minute, and issued this ridiculous, pompous statement about how, they hadn't been aware that it wouldn't be a safe space for employees and so on. What do you make of it? It comes at a time when John Cleese actually has come out with an interesting comment about the threat to comedy at the moment from this cancel.
Over 30 million shopping money weekly. It's a
cancel culture. Here's what John Cleese had to say.
A lot of comedians now are sitting there, and when they think of something, they start thinking, could I get away with that? I don't think so. So-and-so got into trouble when he said that. Or she said that. You see what I mean? And that's the death of creativity.
And I think look, I'm not a big fan of John Cleese, to be honest, these days. He's a bit of a miserable old bore and he can't stand me, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, I love him.
I think
wait for it.
Love him.
Well, we'll agree to disagree about him. I'll probably get on fine with him, actually. If you're watching, John, come and do an interview. But here's the statement that really made me puke. The Dave Chappelle show tonight at First Avenue has been cancelled. To staff, artists in our community, we hear you. We are sorry. We know we must hold ourselves to the highest standards. We let you down. We're not just a blank box with people in it. We understand First Avenue is not just a room, but meaningful beyond our walls. The team and you have worked hard to make our venues the safest spaces in the country.
Stop it.
We'll continue with that mission. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression, but in honouring that, we lost sight of the impacts it would have. I mean, what a load of old guff! Right? What they really mean is, we are going to decide what you're allowed to find funny. That's it.
It's ridiculous. It's, again, a case of freedom of speech. This man is a brilliant writer, a brilliant comic. And when you watch him, he just doesn't tell silly jokes one after the other to try and offend. It always goes along with the story. And there's always the beginning, middle, and end. And it always comes around to, well, what do you think about it? This is what I think. And he
wait for it.
Does it superbly.
The point is, he's not transphobic.
If we can't,
he's not transphobic, but he thinks you should be able to tell.
Not.
You should be able to tell jokes about trans people, like we tell jokes about everybody. And actually, they're funny as jokes.
Course.
Here it comes.
And the thing is, if there are many trans people that he offends, it's very, very simple. Don't watch, turn it off, go and watch something else. But there are also millions of people that love him, that do want to watch him. I'm one of them. I think he's a genius.
Oh, no question.
But the thing is, it's simple. Why do people make such a big deal about, what he does, what he's famous for? Don't watch it. Simple.
I think if we can't tell inappropriate jokes anymore, you and I are going to have to go and live on a desert island somewhere with Ozzy.
Oh, God, we might. might as well live in bloody Russia. I mean, if you can't laugh, right? You've got to laugh. You know, you've got to have irony. You've got to laugh. With the state of the world right now, if you can't go out or watch something at home that's funny, what are we going to do?
Do you know what I read the other day? Was that there's lots of WhatsApp groups now that everybody's on, where inappropriate jokes are told because it's in secret. And I thought, how incredible, what a damning indictment of our society. In a way, it is a bit like Russia or North Korea or China. But people feel they have to go underground to crack a joke in case somebody's upset and you end up losing your job or your livelihood.
Exactly. I mean, all the time people send me things and I'm like, where the
Wait for it.
hell did you find that? You know, and some of them are funny, some of them aren't, but it's like, who the hell is making all this stuff? But some of it is very funny.
Sharon, fantastic.
And, you know, it's humor.
Of course it's humor.
Go on.
Sharon, great to talk to you. Send Ozzy my best. Tell him I'm sorry he bottled it, but as soon as he grows a pair, get on this show and be uncensored for me. He owes me one, all right?
He owes you big time, and I'm going to tell him he's got to
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
come on and do a river dance for you.
Yes, he has. I look forward to seeing him very soon. Sharon, great to talk to you. I'm so glad the old man's back
Love
on his
you,
feet.
Piers.
I know how worried you've been as a family. He is indomitable. He's indestructible. Oh, my God! Unfortunately, he's not on the show. But we will see him soon. Sharon, great to see you.
All right.
All the best.
Loves you.
He sounded like Stewie from Family Guy. Wasn't it obvious?
Stop it.
You shouldn't have done it, Harold. So we're just stating the obvious now? He said a few more things that were immensely unhelpful, and I walked out. I think Harry's, he's like 40 years old today. He actually thought it was a good idea to put this into the book because it's supposed to make us understand how traumatizing his life was because he shaved off his own head and to make his mates laugh. And then when his brother laughed, it was a trauma because his brother was supposed to hold him and say, it's okay that you did this stupid thing. It's now somehow William's fault for not doing that. This is how this book goes on and on and on. Whatever Harry does, it's somebody else's fault, right? Harry can make no mistakes. Remember, notoriously, he says that he wore the Nazi costume to a party, but also that Will and Kate laughed at it. So he wants to share the blame in something that was so clearly his own decision making. But this is, I guess, we're supposed to feel sad for him.
Stop it.
So he goes on, talks about his cocaine use, and he talks about how the press had somehow, the tabloids, had gotten hold of a photo of him snorting cocaine. Now, Harry and I have some friends in common in the UK. It is well known that Harry was a drug addict. He was very into cocaine and very into partying and very into the lifestyle, and his mates held him up and through it. But now, of course, now he's married to Meghan, he can't be bothered to remember his mates, and now I'm sure he assumes that him ever getting involved in cocaine in the first place,
so that was a f***ing lie,
is the fault of his mates, nothing to do with him. So he talks about how they get a hold of this picture, and would you believe it? The palace worked to get this buried.
You want the new choco milk drink with nata de coco. Wow!
Right? So the palace, he knows when he has a problem, the palace works
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
to protect his image, something that he's astonished that took place once him and Meghan got married. How could they do this? How could they be conspiring with the press to make them look good? This is literally their job, right?
You serious?
In the press department. He goes on to describe his cocaine usage, saying, of course, I had been doing cocaine around this time at someone's country house during a shooting weekend. I'd been offered a line, and I'd done a few more since. It wasn't much fun. And it didn't make me particularly happy, as it seemed to make everyone around me, but it did make me feel different. And that was the main goal. Feel different. I was a deeply unhappy 17-year-old boy.
So that was a f***ing lie.
Willing to try almost anything that would alter the status quo. That was what I told myself anyway. Back then, I could lie to myself as effortlessly as I'd lied to the courtier. But now I realized coke hadn't been worth the candle.
Wait for it.
The risk far outweighed the reward. Threatened with exposure, faced with the prospect of fouling up Granny's golden jubilee, walking a knife's edge with the mad press, nothing was worth any of that.
Are you serious?
On the bright side, I had played the game well. So it's just him talking about his cocaine usage, but still somehow making himself the victim of it because he needed to do this to feel different. And it didn't make him happy. And this is back when he's 17 years old.
Here it comes.
He doesn't then tell you that he then kept this up right up until, he met Meghan Markle. And even though he talks to us about the fact that he did joints, he's taken ayahuasca, Harry, this isn't a clean guy, but he wants to go back to the first time he started using it to explain to you that it didn't make him happy, even though he kept up doing it for years and years and years beyond that, because the idea is that no matter what Harry does, remember, it's not his own fault because there is something underlying that is hurting him, namely his brother.
Okay.
And his need to feel different. So there you go. Now, when he gets into his wife, there's just something I need to say. How many, I guess I should ask, how many times
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
can somebody break down crying? Hey, you guys are married. Maybe you're married to somebody that's emotional. How many times would you say it's normal for somebody to completely burst into tears and to sob onto the floor?
Very good question.
Over every little incident that's happening. He actually recounts a bridesmaid dress issue, which I'm sure you guys have read about in the press, that played out between Kate and Meghan. And I'll summarize it for you before we read him. He tells us exactly the text chain, alleges at least, that this is the text chain that took place. Apparently Kate had reached out to Meghan about Charlotte's bridesmaid dress. What is Charlotte? 7 years old, I think. About 7 years old. It did not fit Charlotte. And Meghan was not responsive. He admits this. Meg didn't reply to Kate straight away. Yes, she had endless wedding-related texts, but mostly she was dealing with the chaos surrounding her father.
Are you serious?
So the next morning, she texted Kate that our tailor was standing by at the palace. His name was AJ. This wasn't sufficient. They set up a time to speak that afternoon. Okay, so Kate has obviously responsibly reached out to her. It's a couple of days before the wedding. He says it's 4 days before the wedding. And Meghan decides not to respond at all. Then the next day, Meghan texts Kate and says, bring Charlotte by to the tailor. And Kate says no for some reason. He just says it wasn't sufficient.
Stop it.
I don't know, maybe because you texted her on the day of and said, show up and go to the tailor. Maybe Charlotte had other things going on. We don't know because he doesn't tell us that part. He just says it was not sufficient. Charlotte's dress is too big, too long, too baggy. She cried when she tried it on at home, Kate said. That makes sense. I'd like to remind you, Charlotte is 7, right? Little girls that are 7 years old cry over all sorts of things. And if they put on a dress and they don't feel very pretty,
here it comes.
They might break down crying. This is normal behavior for a 7-year-old. Meghan replies, right. And I told you the tailor has been standing by since 8 a.m. Same day text. Get Charlotte to this tailor immediately.
During Meghan's speech on the couple's Colombia tour, as relations with the royal family remain fraught. Meghan gave a speech to the Afro Women in Power conference on her last day of what has been dubbed her faux royal tour, which has proved very controversial. In the speech, Meghan paid tribute to her mother and her daughter Lilibet, leaving out her sister-in-law Kate.
I find inspiration in so many of the strong women that are around me, of course, my mother being one of them.
A body language expert told The Sun how Harry had looked anxious during Meghan's speech. She said, Harry is said to suffer bouts of nerves before he makes a speech, and sitting beside his wife in the audience, he appeared to be suffering from anxiety by proxy, perhaps worrying on her behalf. Harry stroked his beard in a classic self-comfort ritual, while Meghan looked at ease on stage. The prince was then seen looking downward, fiddling and looking distracted as Meghan sat authoritatively. Meghan's choice of words on stage could be a hint that the couple want to make up with King Charles.
You know, I think life is full of surprises and can be quite complex. And we've talked about over the past few days, you finding your inspiration and this fighting spirit. And for me, we talked about the power of words as well. So much of how I approach things is through the lens of less about the fight. That's not interesting to me. And more about how do we show up in this space and wash things over with love and kindness and generosity. And we talked about this the other day. And of course, that is part of that same spirit that you have in you. You see something wrong, you go to fix it.
Given Meghan and Harry's clashes with the press and the royal family, this could mean the pair want to get back into the royal fold and accept the responsibilities that come with their constitutional role. The Duchess looked reflective and regretful while she made the comments in a soft tone. The body language expert told The Sun, "This shows the same signal of unification and joining together that Harry is so fond of, which might be a silent message of peace to his father Charles." Meghan praised her mother Doria as her role model and said 3-year-old Lilibet had found her voice.
You too can help to change the world. And I think in the small ways that women are doing that each day, and in the larger ways that we're doing that as a community, those are the elements that continue to inspire me to use my voice, because I also recognize how small it feels when you don't. It doesn't feel great to, as we've talked about, suffer in silence or even just sit in silence if in those moments you want to be heard or if you have something to say. So I think part of the role modeling that I certainly try to do as a mother is to encourage our daughter, who at 3, she has found her voice. And we're so proud of that, because that is how we, as I was saying, create the conditions in which there's a ripple effect of young girls and young women knowing that if someone else is encouraging them to use their voice and be heard, that's what they're going to do. And they're going to create a very different environment than so many of us grew up in, where our voices were meant to be smaller. And now in raising them, we're changing the conditions in the environment where everyone has space to be the best version of themselves.
Meghan did not choose to mention the late Queen or Princess Kate for praise. While Meghan's softer tone may be seen as an olive branch to the royal family, relations remain tense. Harry and William are said to have not spoken in 2 years. Prince Harry's oldest pal told the media he no longer hears from the prince since he and Meghan cut ties with the royals and seemingly a lot of their friends. His friend called him an angry boy who only sends him the odd WhatsApp and hinted he was jealous of the public's love of William and Kate. "He's an angry boy," he said. "Things haven't turned out how he wanted. I think he misses being over here in Britain desperately and wants to be admired more. Anyone who knows him feels he'd rather be atop of the pops here with everyone loving him as they do with William and Kate." Relations between the brothers have soured since Megxit. Prince William has reportedly said he doesn't want Harry at his coronation. The brothers are thought to have not said a word to each other since the Queen's funeral. The brothers are not on speaking terms since Harry levelled strong allegations against William in his memoir Spare. He said William had physically attacked him and insulted Meghan. A friend of William's told the Sunday Times the prince's focus was on his wife, children and father, and that Harry is no longer even discussed. He said, "They are estranged, which is dreadfully sad." The Sussexes have made a litany of accusations against William, Kate and the rest of the royal family since Megxit, first in their Oprah interview, then in Spare, Netflix documentaries and Meghan's biographer Omid Scobie's book.
What is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything related to your work. Your
with Harry's legal battles. The king is said to be finding Harry's battle to maintain round-the-clock security paid for by the taxpayer very tricky. Harry lost his right to close protection after he stepped back from royal duties. The prince blames Charles's staff for the withdrawal. A source told the Sunday Times the belief the king controlled security matters was mistaken, adding, "His Majesty's son is suing His Majesty's government, and that is very tricky for the king. If they were to meet, there is a worry that son would lobby father because of the mistaken belief that the king has control over his security. For him not to have accepted the judgment of His Majesty's government and courts is frustrating. Others have said it would be wholly inappropriate for the king to get involved in the battle, which has already cost the taxpayer more than £500,000. Harry hasn't seen Charles since a brief meeting back in February after Charles's cancer diagnosis. Due to his security situation, Prince Harry refuses to bring Meghan or his children to the UK, saying he fears for their safety. But questions arose when the couple chose to go on a trip to Colombia with a vice president who had already suffered 2 assassination attempts. But the Colombians have put on watertight security, which has included armed guards, military, drones and sniffer dogs. Whole towns have even been shut down when the royal pair have shown up. The cost to the Colombian taxpayer has fueled grumbles in the country. One source told OK Magazine, "People are grumbling about why the Colombian taxpayer should pick up what will be huge security costs for what is essentially a public relations exercise for the Sussexes, and for a government which desperately needs to deflect away from its failures." The couple's trip also angered people in the UK. Royal tours are reserved for official royals and supported by the government. There are usually diplomatic missions and negotiations which accompany a tour with a specific agenda in mind. Angela Levin spoke to GB News about how this faux royal tour has angered the nation and royals.
What is extraordinary, there are hundreds of things that are extraordinary, but what is really extraordinary is all the things they hated doing, they are now doing. And they're doing it with a smile and they want to do it better than anybody else. You start there. That's where you end as well, because you think this is phony. This is all to say I can do better than you can, but actually they can't. Very interestingly, that the Vice President, Francia Marquez, she saw Meghan and Harry on Netflix when they did the six episodes. No, that was a slip of the tongue.
It was a Freudian slip.
Yes, 6 hours of it, which it nearly killed me because I had to watch it. It was so boring. It was so difficult. She fell in love with Meghan and thought, this is wonderful. I must meet the woman. So Harry, very little interest in him. So he was standing in the back. He didn't speak or understand Spanish. He could just say, "What is your name? How old are you?" Which is, at least he tried a bit. So it was so unfair. It was so negative, I thought. So I went back actually and looked at the 6 episodes, and this was the one where Meghan mimics the Queen, which I think she lost a lot of followers on that. And she bent over and she said very,
fake curtsy. Yeah,
fake
that wasn't
curtsy.
very nice.
Yeah, but she was teaching little girls there to do curtsies for her because she is a princess. And so those little kids were trying to learn how to do...
Is that what she was doing in Colombia?
Yes.
Teaching the kids how to curtsy?
Yes.
When yet she had mocked the curtsy?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
Terrible.
I thought, I couldn't believe that. And I checked that was in... shocking.
She says they don't want to be royal, but they do want to be treated as though they are royal.
Yes, that's right. Well, Meghan does anyway. I think Harry looks so miserable and unhappy.
On this one, I thought he looked very happy. In fact, to me, they looked very happy. And I'm happy that they're happy. But the point that we make is that stop slagging off your family and stop taking advantage of the royal titles. That's what we're all after. We don't care. Do what you like, but, don't use the royal name.
No, they had the opportunity. The Queen wished them very well. The late Queen wished them very well. They should go away and have a lifetime. Yeah. But Meghan is very resentful and she's going to go on and on and on until she sorts it out. But what was also silly is that they were telling us how to think, how to behave, which was also a nonsense, You must behave perfect. You have to, what was this one? people are acting on information that isn't true.
Oh,
Well,
yes, I heard that bit about it.
That's one of their things, that they don't actually tell the truth about many things, I found. And what they're doing is actually
They might argue that it's their truth, which is what has come out of it, even though there were 17 clear inconsistencies in the Oprah interview.
19
Was
there
it
were.
19?
Yes, there we are.
More.
But you can't actually go around telling everybody else what to do if you're not doing it. I think that's a nonsense. And I think that this is very much to upset the royal family even more because of the danger, and also any arrangements they might do, any promises to do a deal with them, or to make sure that they become more familiar with us, or with sort of changing the way that the royal family works for their way. And I think, and I hope that the royal family who are in Scotland have a big think about this, because I think it affects the royal family very seriously. And if they're going to go to a country, every 2 to 3 weeks and build up something against the royal,
yes, the royal family needs to be wary of that.
They should really definitely be wary of it.
Would you say that there needs to be sort of a motion towards, I know that the king and queen can't do it, but there should be some sort of motion towards removing their titles so they can no longer trade with them. Like if they want to do royal so-called faux tours around the world, that's up to them, do what you like. But to do it on the back of being royalty when you have stepped back from the very thing that you're doing, is very disingenuous.
Yes, I mean, this is a parliamentary thing to do. The king can't do it.
Nicholas Dunning, GB News.
Caltex with Tech Crime. Keep your engine clean.
Decade. But that all changed when she became a member of the royal family in 2018, following an extravagant wedding to Prince Harry. Meghan quit her acting career and immersed herself into the life of a working royal, using her newfound platform to highlight charitable causes close to her heart. She's since stepped away from royal duties and has started a new life with her family in California. Today, she's the wife of a prince, a loving mother to 2 wonderful children, and widely known as the Duchess of Sussex. Born on August 4th, 1981, to an African-American mother and a white father, Rachel Meghan Markle enjoyed a fruitful upbringing in Los Angeles. She developed an outspoken voice at a young age and started campaigning for gender equality. When she was 11, Meghan wrote a letter to then US First Lady Hillary Clinton criticizing sexism used in a soap advert. The language of the commercial was subsequently changed.
Truth be told, at 11, I don't even think I really knew what sexism meant. I just knew that something struck me internally. No one was telling me that it was wrong, but I knew that it was wrong.
As a teenager, she volunteered in soup kitchens as she studied at Immaculate Heart High School. After graduating from the Roman Catholic School in 1999, Meghan studied theatre and international studies at Northwestern University in Illinois.
Beautiful skin starts with deep cleansing. Use Nivea Extra Bright to remove 100% makeup and dirt without any rubbing. Powered with micellar technology and infused with pearl and licorice extracts. For radiant skin in as early as 7 days. Say hello to beautiful, clean, and bright skin from Nivea.
Before stepping into the limelight, Markle returned to California, where she taught people how to do calligraphy between auditions. She starred in smaller TV roles, but remained determined to make her big break on the silver screen. By 2011, Meghan had moved to Toronto after securing her first major acting role on Suits. The same year, she married her first husband, Trevor Engelson, before they divorced 2 years later. It was during her rise to fame she captured the attention of a British prince. Meghan and Prince Harry first connected online through a mutual friend. Following direct messages on Instagram, The pair went on a blind date at Soho House in London in the summer of 2016. A connection was instantly formed, and the couple continued to privately see each other. But it was only a few months later that the media discovered the prince was secretly in a relationship with the actress. And like Harry's mother, the late Princess Diana, who married into the royal family, Meghan became the media's new fascination, facing media scrutiny into her private life. In a highly unusual move, a dismayed Harry released a statement through Kensington Palace, accusing journalists of harassing his partner. His girlfriend Meghan Markle has been subject to a wave of abuse and harassment, it read. The statement continued, he knows commentators will say this is the price she has to pay and that this is all part of the game. He strongly disagrees. This is not a game, it is her life and his, the statement concluded. It was Prince Harry's first time publicly acknowledging Meghan. It showed how serious he was about this relationship. After more than 1 year of dating, Harry and Meghan made their public debut in her home city at Toronto's Invictus Games. The couple immediately broke royal protocol, openly showing how smitten they were with each other with their public display of affection. Markle's arrival in casual attire not only started the Meghan effect, but also indicated the 36-year-old American wasn't changing for anyone. In September 2017, Meghan gave an interview with Vanity Fair where she referred to Harry as her boyfriend. We're two people who are really happy and in love, sparking speculation that a royal engagement could be on the horizon. Two months later, Meghan and Harry announced their engagement, and the actress revealed that she would be leaving her role in Suits after 7 incredible years.
It's a standard, typical night for us.
Cozy night. It was what we're doing, just roasting chicken and
Roasting
having
a chicken, trying to roast a chicken.
trying to roast a chicken, and it was just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I was like, "Can I say yes now?"
She didn't even let me finish. She said, "Can I say yes? Can I say yes?" And then there was hugs, and I had the ring in my finger, and I was like, "Can I give you the ring?" She was, "Oh yes, the ring." So no, it was a really nice moment. It was just the two of us, and I think I managed to catch her by surprise.
Members of the royal family shared their excitement to officially welcome Meghan to their family.
We're thrilled, thank you very much, to both of them. I hope they'll be very happy indeed, is all I can say.
William and Catherine also issued a statement saying, "We are very excited for Harry and Meghan. It has been wonderful getting to know Meghan and to see how happy she and Harry are together." In February 2018, the fiancés took part in their first engagement with their future in-laws, the then Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, at their Royal Foundation charity.
Catherine, Harry and I are delighted to be here this morning, and we're particularly happy to be at our first Royal Foundation event with Meghan.
But as Meghan prepared for a special day, drama about a family rift dominated many newspapers' front pages. There were reports about her father, Thomas Markle, being forced to miss the wedding as he prepared to have heart surgery. And an open letter written by his son, Meghan's half-brother, urging Prince Harry not to go ahead with the wedding, came to light. The pair got married on Saturday, the 19th of May, 2018, at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. Her new family, her mother, friends, and former Suits co-stars attended the beautiful wedding, and millions at home watched. Shortly after tying the knot, the couple began attending royal events together as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They had embarked on their first royal tour together, where they visited Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Tonga over 16 days. Meghan gave her first royal tour speech, speaking about the importance of education.
I am also fully aware of the challenges of being able to afford this level of schooling for many people around the world, myself included. It was through scholarships, financial aid programs, and work study, where my earnings from a job on campus went directly towards my tuition, that I was able to attend university. And without question, it was worth every effort. Everyone should be afforded the opportunity to receive education that they want, but more importantly, the education that they have the right to receive. And for women and girls in developing countries, this is vital. Providing them with access to education is the key to economic and social development.
The visit coincided with the couple announcing exciting news. They were expecting their first baby.
We want to congratulate you on the birth of your child and also present you with what we thought was a pretty cool gift. It's for Archie.
Their baby boy, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, arrived at 5:26 a.m. on May 6, 2019.
He's already got a little bit of facial hair as well. Wonderful.
I mean, I have the two best guys in the world, so I'm really happy. He has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm and
He gets that from.
yeah, and he's just been the dream.
A month later, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex revealed they would be going on their first royal tour as a family to Africa. Baby Archie certainly made a good impression on Archbishop Desmond Tutu during their Cape Town visit. All seemed well as Meghan embraced her new role and continued to establish herself within the royal family.
May I just say that while I'm here with my husband as a member of the royal family, I want you to know that for me, I am here with you as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of color, and as your sister.
But by the end of their South Africa tour, Harry and Meghan's mission to raise awareness to important issues such as injustice and education was plagued by the news that they were beginning legal action against the Mail on Sunday for publishing a private letter sent by the Duchess to her estranged father, a High Court privacy case that the Duchess of Sussex won. Over the years, Meghan's relationship with her father and her half-siblings has become strained, with Thomas Markle revealing to British media that he hasn't met his grandchildren. An announcement in June 2019 that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were split from the charity they work closely with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge on led to intense speculation about Harry and Meghan's relationship with Prince William and Catherine. The news came a year after it was reported that Meghan had made her sister-in-law cry during the preparations of her wedding. But Meghan revealed in a bombshell interview in 2021, it was Kate who made her cry during a disagreement about dresses. She had also revealed in the sit-down that there had been concerns and conversations about how dark Archie's skin might be. It was in October that the public became aware that the Duchess wasn't completely happy behind the scenes, when she told ITV News that not many people asked if she's okay. After spending the Christmas break as a family in Canada, the Duke and Duchess revealed within days into 2020 that they planned to step back as working royals and become financially independent. The couple attended the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey for their final royal engagement in March 2020. Not long after this, in 2021, it emerged that Buckingham Palace was investigating claims that two royal staff were bullied by Meghan Markle when she was a senior royal. Days before an explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey was released. In a statement, the Duchess said she was saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself. The outcome of the probe was kept private by the palace.
Sobra akong bilib sa'yo because your love is pure. Your love is absolute.
Today was a very hard push day for me and pawis malala ako today. I always start my workout with some cardio, then I proceed with lifting weights for my body goals. But as a fragrance guy, of course, I still want to stay fresh kahit pawisan ako. So part of my routine.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have settled into their new life with Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, in California. The pair also welcomed their daughter on June 4, 2021. The wonderful news came nearly a year after Meghan revealed she had a miscarriage. Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor was named after her great-grandmother Elizabeth II and her grandmother, the late Princess Diana.
Being a mom is the most important thing in my entire life, and outside, of course, being a wife.
The Sussex have opted to raise their children out of the spotlight, but royal fans have been able to catch a glimpse of Archie and Lilibet in the Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan. The Duchess took on a new role with the streaming giant as an executive producer in 2024. Her new Netflix series will celebrate the joys of cooking, gardening, entertaining, and friendship.
Wow, it looks beautiful. This is with pigeon, yes?
Yes. It's crunchy and sweet and salt. Yeah? You like it? I'm happy.
But the entrepreneur has been tackling tricky topics for years. In 2022, Meghan launched her Spotify podcast Archetypes with the ambition of investigating and subverting labels that try to hold women back. She made headlines when she had a candid chat with pop legend Mariah Carey about what it's like to be labelled a diva, and the pair bonded over growing up biracial. Her relationship with Spotify came to an end in 2023, but the Duchess has continued to explore new ventures. This year, Meghan unveiled her new lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard on Instagram, where she will be selling products. It's her first time back on social media since she deleted her lifestyle blog, The Tig, in 2017 and her social accounts in 2018. Some of her celebrity friends, including Chrissy Teigen and Delphina Blaquer, have been sent a strawberry jam jar by the Duchess. But the couple's transition to their life away from royalty hasn't been completely smooth sailing. The couple were involved in a near-catastrophic car chase while being followed by paparazzi in 2023. The car carrying the Sussex and Meghan's mother was subjected to a relentless pursuit involving half a dozen blacked-out vehicles. Beyond her fame, Meghan has dedicated her time and platform to raise awareness to issues affecting thousands internationally. As a global ambassador for World Vision Canada, Meghan addressed the stigma around menstrual health in an article she wrote for Time magazine, and traveled to Rwanda for the charity's Clean Water campaign in 2016. The Duchess has consistently campaigned for gender equality and women empowerment. In 2018, she launched a charity cookbook to help those affected by the Grenfell Tower fire.
Working on this project for the past 9 months has been a tremendous labor of love. I had just recently moved to London and I felt so immediately embraced by the women in the kitchen, with your warmth and your kindness, and also to be able to be in the city and to see in this one small room how multicultural it was. On a personal level, I feel so proud to live in a city that can have so much diversity. I said in the foreword that this is more than a cookbook. And what I mean by that is the power of food is more than just the meal itself. It is the story behind it. And when you get to know the story of the recipe, you get to know the person behind it. And that's what we're talking about in terms of coming together to really engage and talk and to be able to celebrate what connects us rather than what divides us. That, I believe, is the ethos of Together.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex founded the Archwell Foundation in 2020, shortly after they moved to the US. Named in honor of her son and under the banner of Show Up, Do Good, the charity has backed important projects ranging from helping Afghan women in the US to tackling misinformation. Aside from starting charities, Meghan has joined her husband to promote mental health for soldiers and young girls as part of the Invictus Games. Speaking at an coming to terms with her identity during a visit to Nigeria.
When I had done the genealogy and found out about my heritage, the first thing I did obviously was call my mom because I wanted to know if she had any awareness of it. And I think being African American, part of it is really not knowing so much about your lineage, your background, where you come from specifically. And it was exciting for both of us to discover more and understand what that really means. Never in a million years would I understand it as much as I do now. Being here. And what's been echoed so much really in the past day by men and women alike is, oh, we weren't surprised when we found out when you were Nigerian. Oh, no. And I say that mostly as a compliment to all of you because what they define as a Nigerian woman is brave, resilient, courageous, powerful, beautiful.
It marks the couple's first visit to the country after they were personally invited by Nigeria's highest-ranking military official. Meghan, the